And so that's probably enough about me. Let's talk a little bit about what Bikablo is, because it's a made up name. And I can see for the most part that people are not showing their videos. And so I would encourage you to do so, because we're going to do some drawing where we need to see each other and we need to see the drawings that we're doing. Terrific, thank you. And so that's a good start. Thanks very much. So I'll keep talking as other people come on to being seen. So I'm going to show you behind me. Well, first I'll show you the welcome. So here is welcome, and you may want to pin the video so you can see it even more closely. All right, because we'll be doing some drawing and you probably want to see that too. So this is the welcome. And over here is a bit of information about Picablo. So Picablo is a German company and it's based in Cologne. So there we go, that might be a little better. So it's based in Cologne. And so if you've been to Germany or you know of Cologne, their iconic symbol is a cathedral. And Picablo is always drawing symbols to let people know what's being talked about. All right. The word Picablo is made up of 3 German words, and they're builder, which means pictures, Karten, which means cards, and block, which means pads. So some people, perhaps Charu, or if you know Deepti, or oh gosh, almost 24 people were with me for a training in India back at the end of February and the beginning of March. And I brought the Bikablo books with me, and they're really fat books. They look like big pads of paper, and they have lots of pictures in them. So this is a made up name. If you didn't know what it was, now you do. And this is where it comes from. So Picablo in Germany has about 40 trainers that train over 4,000 people a year. I'm one of the global team members, so I'm one of about 24 people around the world that do this kind of work. So I'm the gal in the US and happily got to India also. What we always want to do with Picablo is enable people to draw. All right, and so through the Picablo Academy, as you can see here, we look to improve learning, communication, and collaboration. And so that's a little bit of background about Picablo. And if you have questions, we're a rather small group. So if you want to come off of mute and ask a question, or I will try and look at things in the chat. It just gets a little complicated when we're drawing and doing other things. All right, so that's a bit about me. And it's nice to see other people joining, and hopefully they too will show their videos. So let's talk a little bit about you. And I'm hoping that you have some paper and a marker in front of you. So perhaps give me a thumbs up or a wave of your hand to let me know if you've got something in front of you that you can draw with. Thank you, Roma. Like it. All right. For other folks, excellent. Thanks, Ravi. Okay. Super, Sachin, excellent. Okay, and I can see in the chat also. Terrific. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to ask you to draw the answer to the question. So, and I'll put on the timer, which will actually be music for about 2 minutes or so. And so my question to you is, please draw the best thing that's happened to you in the past 24 hours. So I'll start some music. And please draw the best thing that's happened to you in 24 Terrific. And so what I'd love to do is hear from just a couple of you, and that could be through the chat or by coming off of mute. What was that like for you? Please answer that question. Was it fun? Was it challenging? Which part of it was hard or easy? What are your thoughts?
Hi Jill, Arun here. You able to hear me?
Hi, I can.
Yeah, so it was easy to visualize. Okay, I could visualize what was the thing that I did. After a long time, I had an afternoon nap, so I can give some context so that people can also visualize. I don't know what others have done. So what I've tried to do is, I'm not sure if you can see it.
Yes.
So
And
I
we can
slept, yeah.
pin the video if you want to look at it closer.
Okay. I'm not good using the technology, so do bear with me.
No, you don't need to do that. Other people can do
other
it. Don't
people,
worry
okay,
about it.
sure. Yeah. So what I did is I wanted to communicate that I slept for 4 hours today after a long time, might be after a couple of months or something during the afternoon, which is very unlike of me. So I had a good sleep. So after this, might be after the session today, I'll read a book. So I just tried to communicate that in the thing. Thank you.
It's adorable. Thank you so much.
It's a dream for all 80%, 99% of people here.
Yeah, I can correlate with all the
And
things.
let's hear from one or two other people also.
Yeah, it's a similar one.
Okay.
It's a good food. I don't know whether you can see. Yeah, it's a good food. Similar one.
Very nice.
Yeah. Usually the weekdays we'll try to eat very fast and very quick, and we will not even feel the taste.
Yeah. So it's nice to have time to enjoy your food.
Yeah, weekends it is more relaxed and.
Excellent. Any other thoughts or anyone else care to share?
Is it visible?
Okay. Go ahead, Sachin, and then we'll look at Charu's.
Hello.
Yeah. So I found some time for yoga and exercise. This is what I have tried to draw.
Oh, terrific. That's awesome. Excellent. Terrific. And Charu? You're on mute, hon.
Yeah. So my son was sick from last 2 days, so he's little better today. So yeah, that was the good thing that happened. So he's little
That's
better.
terrific. Sweet. Thank you. All right. And Alok, did you want to share?
Yeah, yes. Can you see my
Yes,
screen?
if we pin, we can, and then we'll do Shika, and then we will move on to our next piece. Oh, how beautiful.
So it was actually a rose in my garden in the morning. So I think I wanted to show the balcony, but slightly short of time. But I think that was the essence I wanted to communicate.
Absolutely. Terrific. And Shika, thank you. Do you want to come off of there? Perfect.
Okay, so I don't know if it's visible or not, but
Yes.
actually today I started my virtual class with one of my NGO with whom I'm volunteering, and today we taught these underprivileged kids what are the use of flippant tools. So this good thing is like we also use in our class. So it's like the first thing we do is greet, and then we go for good things. So yeah, so that's what I did.
Shika,
something
thank
very
you.
fun.
Just adorable. So will everyone, and this would be a great time for everybody to come back on so we can see everyone, because I'm going to ask you to hold up your drawings in front, and then we'll take a screenshot. So that way, terrific. So more of you are coming off. So starting up your video, so to speak, holding up your drawing. We'll wait just another 10 seconds for other people to do that. Okay, we still have some folks. All right, so.
Should we put the face or the drawing?
Well, the drawing, and maybe your face can be around the side or up at the top or something like that. That's your choice. Okay, get ready. Here we go. All right, let's do one more. Good job. Thank you. Excellent. All right, so one of the things that we talk about in Picablo is pairing up words with icons or symbols or graphic elements and figures. So I know some of you may be on an iPad or your phone, and that may make it a little difficult. But for those of you on a desktop or a laptop, I put a file in the chat that says ThoughtSketching for India. And so I can see it there now. And if you click to open that, that will give you a copy of our agenda. So I'm also going to share my screen now. I'm going to do my best to share my screen for those of you that don't have it, just to give you a sense of our agenda. And I also want you to see the way to put together pictures and words. So let me, there we go. And so at this point, you should be seeing a bit of my screen. Is that the case? Where you're seeing, essentially, I'm going to make it a little bigger. You might also want to pin, there we go. All right, so at this point, this is our agenda. So I'm assuming that you're seeing, give me a nod of your head or a wave of the hand or something to let me know. Excellent, thank you, Chara. All right, so this is an agenda. It's in the file that I just dropped into the chat. And so you see that this is another way of representing what I had on the flip chart. I have the picture of the famous church in Cologne, the number of trainers, the number of people that they train, and that Picablo has to do with made up of 3 different words and little cards. There's me holding a marker in my hand saying, let's visualize. And if you have the opportunity to print this out, you might now, it's not necessary. You might just take a screenshot and work with it by looking at it while we're working. But because I will tell you a little bit about visualizing, and you might want to take some notes there. All right. In addition, you're going to do some drawing. So you might have some notes about that drawing experience when you break up into pairs. And then perhaps you'll imagine the future and how will you bring drawing into more of your work. So this is something that I make all the time when I'm working with people. It's a 1-page template. And in this case, it's an agenda. So this is the kind of thing that you can do also. All right, so I wanted to share that with you. There are a few other pieces in the file that I sent you that says, I'm so happy to be working with you. If you want, you can stay in touch with me, so I tell you how to do that, that kind of thing, but we'll talk about that more later. Let's talk about visualizing and where it comes from and what we know from science about it. What we know is that we take in information in our brains in a couple of different ways. So we'll just talk about our brain for 2 or 3 minutes or so. There was a professor at the University of Western Ontario, this is in Canada, who talked about a theory of knowing or a theory of cognition, which says that we make mental images based on what we see, and that could be visually or based on the words. So that's all visual. In addition, we learn through what we hear. All right, so we know that learning just by hearing is good. What's even better is learning by hearing, seeing, and doing. So Alain Pavio developed this theory of cognition that says that the formation of mental images aids us in our learning. So we can code information both visually and verbally because these are processed differently. So that's where all of, that's where a lot of this comes from as we start to talk about why do we even do this drawing and why do we put it all together? So what we're going to do now is do a bit of drawing and have you actually experience that. So get your markers and paper ready. I have paper up behind me on the wall that I'm going to be drawing on, and we're going to do just a little bit of drawing, probably about 10 minutes, and then you'll have an opportunity to work with a partner or maybe even a trio. We'll have to it'll depend on the numbers, Charo. You decide if it's easier to divide by 2 or divide by 3. You let me know. And so let's start though by just putting a heading on our paper. All right, so the heading on the paper on mine is going to say drawings because that's what we're doing right now. Oh my gosh, that is a well-used marker. I have used it so much, it needs to be retired. All right, so I've got the word drawings here because we always put a title when we're working and when we're drawing. But we don't put anything around it yet. We don't put any kind of frame or cute container around it, but we'll get there. All right, so let's start with a simple container. And so I'm going to teach you some tips and tricks along the way that might be kind of slow to begin with, but once you practice them, they get much faster. So let's make a simple, let's start by making a simple line that's straight. So how many people here have trouble making a straight line? I'm just gonna put my hand up. Anybody have trouble drawing straight across a page, making a straight line? Yeah, lots of us do. So when you make a straight line, you look where you're going, not where you are. So I'm gonna start all the way over here on the edge of my paper, and I'm gonna try and dodge my dog who is asleep on the floor right now. So if you hear a squeal, that's gonna be it. So we hope that doesn't happen. All right, so I'm gonna draw from here to here, and I'm gonna look where I'm going. And that gives me quite a straight line. So try doing one of those. So look not where your pen is, but where you're going across the page, all the way across. And if you're up and doing it like I am, meaning you're standing, then you have to literally move your body. It's because you don't want to reach, because that's when you get a wiggly line. All right, so we've done one straight line across. We're going to do a straight line going down vertically. So we're looking where we're going. So that starts us off. And my lines are nice and thick because I apply even pressure to the line, to the marker as I'm using it. So it's not wobbly or thin. All right, let's make a square and a rectangle. And I see a little one in the background there. Maybe she wants to draw too, you never know. So this, you saw me take my time. I did 4 distinct strokes. And once again, if you pin my video, so if you go up into the right-hand corner of the little window that I'm in and you click pin video, it will come up bigger for you. If you want, I can also switch to the document camera. So let's see how that works. But these are 4 separate lines. They're very distinct, and I close all my corners, right? We're not doing something like this. That looks like the toast from breakfast. That looks like the toast from my breakfast, and we're not doing that. Okay, so nice lines. All right, the same would be true if we're making a triangle. So yes, it's kind of slow because I'm taking good care while I'm doing it, but it gets me a nice crisp line. All right, so that's a good start. Let's do something with these squares. So we're going to make a piece of paper now that has the corner folded down. We will call that a dog-eared corner. Maybe that's a phrase you use also. So this is a little more complex. We start with an L. We go about 3/4 of the way across and stop. Then we make another L and connect. And then we put that line, and it looks like the corner is folded down. And you could even color in that little corner if you wanted to show that the back of the paper was a different color. And so let's learn something about making a stack of paper. If we wanted to show a stack of paper, we would take good care, because you can see that I've done this carefully, to angle the pieces of paper that come after it. All right, so once again, this is something that's just building on what you already know how to do. All right, so let's do 1 or 2 more of these kinds of shapes, then we'll move on to some icons. So let's use an arrow. Let's create one. So this is an arrow that will look clean and crisp every time. So we make 2 parallel lines. We make a line up and a line down, and then we imagine where we want the point to be. Or if you want, you could even put a dot where you imagine it to be. So for me, it's going to be right out here. So I could put a little dot there. And so I have a perfect arrow every time. All right. And so if you wanted to, I use this arrow all the time to say this way or my way or let's go. And I always write the letters in first, and then I'll put the arrow around it. Otherwise, it can feel too squishy to fit the letters in there. Okay, great. So let's do something else using a circle that will lead us to a speech bubble. So making a circle can be challenging. And I usually start pretty quickly, and then I slow down to make sure it matches at the top. So try making a couple of circles, and I would try going kind of big, even if you're using, you know, letter size paper, printer paper, but get used to going a little bigger because it may be easier than going small. So there's a circle. And so with that circle, we could almost make a speech bubble. I'm going to teach you something right now that looks what's called a carrot. So just that kind of V shape. It's got a little curve here. And if we put these two things together, we get a speech bubble. And you saw that I made the carrot first, because when I do it, if I do the circle and then the carrot, I forget to leave enough space for it, right? So I know for me, that's what's important. And so I just put some proportions up there too. This part is about 1/3 of the total area, and this is 2/3, the bubble. Because if you do it different proportions, it might look like a lollipop or a mushroom or something that you're not intending, all right? So once again, when you do this, you always do the writing first, and then you put the speech bubble around it, okay? So that's another good thought. All right, we're gonna take just a couple more minutes here before sending you into a group experience. So you've just done some containers. Let's do a couple pictograms. So when I do this work, which I love so much, I consider it a gift. So let's make a square again and put a bow on it. So there's a gift or a present, all right? Let's do perhaps let's make some sunshine. So this would be another icon or pictogram. So it could be this, where we practice our nice circle again. Always good to practice. So that could be a way to make a circle, and I'm using my marker and flicking my wrist to get that pointy end. Or you might do something more like a swirl, which can be fun. So there are all kinds of ways to make a sun. All right, and maybe we'll just do a cloud, and then we will move on to a figure. And so there's a cloud. All right, so you can start to make up your own story. It's a sunny day, it's a cloudy day, all kinds of things. All right, and then we'll just spend 1 minute or two doing figures, so you can put a person in your drawing if you like. So the way we make figures, and actually this whole technique that we're using is based on shapes that we really know, circles, squares, and triangles, and also letters. So we call it the UZMO technique, UZMO. And actually, you know what? I'm just gonna make a light bulb because it uses all those letters, just so you can see that happen. So using these letters, I'm gonna make a light bulb. I'll start at the bottom, right? That's the part that screws in to the socket. All right, so there's your U. Here's the Z. That's the M, that's the filament inside. And that's the O. All right, so we just made a light bulb. So many times when you're looking at things and you're like, gosh, I don't know how to draw that. If you can start to think of simple shapes or letters, it may help you out. So here's the figure. There's the U shape for the torso. Here's our head, which is a circle, but like an oval, not completely round. And here are our legs. Oh my goodness, those are big feet. Gracious. All right. So just for proportion, because this is important, our head is about half a unit, the torso is a full unit, and the legs are another full unit. So that is an easy way to make a figure. And if you wanted to add some arms, this is one of my favorite drawings to make. The arms are actually quite long. You'll notice yourself when you stand up straight, your arms go way past your waist. So you have to make the arms long enough or they look too short. They don't look right, right? So this is my figure that's standing with one arm down to the side and the other coming up like this. I just think that's fun. All right. So I want to answer any questions that you have about these drawings before we go into an exercise. So it might be easiest to come off of mute, although I will look in the chat just to see if there is anything to look at there. Yes, we do draw together. Thanks, Alok. I did not see that at this point, but absolutely be drawing what I'm drawing. Any thoughts or questions come up for you as you look at what I've got up here on the chart? Well, I'm hoping that means, oh yes, it was fun. I'm so glad to hear that. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to ask you now to think of a sentence that that is something you might say at work and to put it in the chat. It could be, we have a deadline coming up tomorrow, or we've got to work on this with the team. Whatever it is that you want to say, and please enter that into the chat. I'm going to pick one of them and then we're all going to draw it together. So take 30 seconds or so to think of a sentence, and I'm going to get myself a fresh piece of paper to put on top because I have run out of room. Actually, okay, let's brainstorm. I have a deadline for Monday, actually. Think about delivering value for your customer. How can we be better? Okay, great. Those are great examples. All right, so let's take one of those sentences and let's all think on our own. So you draw, I'm going to draw on my own, and then we're going to share by just showing each other what we've done. All right, so I'm going to ask, just because I think this is something, think about delivering value for your customer. So that's from Ari. So if you want to look in the chat where that is, and take the next 2 minutes to figure out, how would you draw? Think about delivering value for your customer. So we did a couple of icons that you can use. So think about what we've done or make up something on your own. Okay, think about delivering value. I'm just going to write that and then time it for 2 minutes. All right, we're at about 2 minutes. So take another half minute to finish up. Diraj, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It looks like you would like to share yours. Would you like to share yours? If so, come off of mute, please.
Yeah, sure. Hi.
Hi.
First off, my apologies. I joined a little late, so but
No
I'm
worries.
trying my best to whatever I can capture.
Great.
So I've used the icons that you've taught. There's a gentleman who's just thinking about delivering dollar, which is value to the set of people.
Awesome. Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
And who else? Let's hear from at least 2 more people before we go into the activity. All right. So I can see, let's see. So Shika, would you care to share? And then we'll do Charo, and then we can do someone else who is nameless. I can't see your name.
Okay. So I thought like that there's something to deliver. So I have a box to deliver to these
Absolutely.
people. Yeah.
Very nice. And if you put some arms underneath the box or around the box,
Yeah.
that would be great. Once again, it's a very short amount of time. I just, when you look at anyone else's work, you go, oh gosh, if I added that. So good work. Thanks. Charo, did you want to share?
Yeah, so a customer and the value. So I added cart so that it can be delivered. Yeah.
Super. Love the crown on the customer. Adorable.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Great.
Nailed it.
Nice. And Gunjan. And once again, if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, correct me, please.
Yeah, it's Gunjan.
Gunjan.
Yeah, hi. So
Hi.
it's something similar. It's just that myself having some idea. So drawn an icon.
Right.
And gift box, something similar to like, I'm just this side is a customer, so something similar that you were doing. I don't know. It just drew and then I saw yours.
That's a great idea. So I did something similar to yours. I had a person thinking of how do I deliver a present or value to my customers.
Right.
There's so many ways to do this, and one is not better than another or right and something else wrong. It's how do we combine pictures and words to convey our meaning. All right, so what we're going to do now, and I'm just doing a quick count around the screen. So we have 5, 10, 15, we have 23 folks, but we take me out of it. So we have, thank you, Sudha, for putting that up there. Sweet, very similar, very nice. So we'll have 22 folks without me, right, Charu? If we put folks into groups, so if we can do pairs. And so what I'm going to do is show you, I have it big behind me, but I also have, you may want to take a screenshot of the instructions. That may be helpful. So let me just share my screen for a quick second. You will learn what to do. Okay. And let's make sure that you can see all of it. All right. So this is a thought sketching exercise. And so what you will do, it says to come together in 3s, but we know for the numbers, it's better that we do it as 2s. And so you'll come together as a pair. Charo will put you in the groups. You'll take your sentence from the previous exercise. So the one that you put in the chat. So there'll be 2 sentences all together. The first person that goes reads her or his sentence and maybe shows the sentence to the partners. All right, it's going to be just one other partner so that everyone's clear on what the sentence is. Everybody visualizes or draws the sentence for 2 minutes. All right, so share the sentence, draw the sentence, and then everyone shows what they have done. So the pairs show each other what they've done, and think about what's best here. Which one is really one of the better ways of representing it, knowing that you can do it a couple different ways, right? This is not a competition, right? But just think about what provides most clarity, and then do it again with the other person's sentence. So then you read the second person's sentence, you visualize for 2 minutes, and you share. And so with a total of 10 minutes, you will have plenty of time for each person to go at least once, and maybe you'll have time for a little more. So I want to ask if there are any questions. You may want to click a shot of this. And I will be around in case anyone has questions. I can always join a room, but by all means come off of mute if you want to ask me a question. Well, it looks like you're all in good shape then, that you have a sense of what to do. And so Charles will then place you into rooms, and at 9 minutes, you will receive a 1-minute warning to come back into the group and to be ready to share. Okay. I keep looking to see if everyone's back yet.
So we all are back because our break rooms are now closed.
Terrific. I was putting some finishing touches on here. Not quite done, but I've added shadow. So this is just something else to note, that when we draw, we like to have a nice title. We put a container around the title and a frame around the entire thing so it looks together on a page. All right. And so please tell us what that experience was like. We'll just take 2 or 3 minutes so that then I can finish up on time. But what was it like to work with somebody else, meaning hear their sentence and draw their sentence, draw your own sentence, and compare your drawings? Once again, all answers are acceptable. Fun, scary, exciting.
I think
What are you
was,
thinking?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was really helpful because we were drawing on the same things, and when we shared or exchanged ideas, we suddenly saw what did not struck us and what other things we could improve on. And it was very fast also, so I think really nice, productive.
Sure. Excellent. Thanks for sharing.
The main observation was it's only images. So there will be no any confusion in the words. When we use some words, no, sometimes it will be understood, misunderstood. Since it's visual, you can clearly understand the message.
Absolutely. Very good. Thank you.
I think we also get to know the perspective of people. For example, if I talk about some sentence and, you know, if I'm thinking something else and the other person is something else, it can easily depict with the help of, like, we can easily show that with the help of drawing what exactly we meant about that sentence.
For sure. Gunjan.
Yeah, so it was fun, and it was like, you know, one person's thought, and we could, find multiple ways in which same thing could be represented in probably in a better way by somebody else. But then, yeah, we could come up with different ideas.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Jill, what I like about this activity is that the person whom I was connected in a group, I didn't know that person, but still we able to connect, communicate, and deliver what we wanted to. So yes, that's the way I find it can be a benchmark for the team to come on a common ground.
Absolutely. And so would everyone hold up their drawings? So those of you that are off screen, perhaps you'll start your video just to share your drawings, and we'll do another screenshot because it's super fun to see what people do. So pick your best because you probably have 2. All right, we'll give it another just 5 seconds for everyone to put up their drawing. Got just about everybody. All right. There we go. All right, so make those drawings smile, right? Nicely done. Excellent. All right, so what I'd like to do is share with you a way to give feedback that you might not have seen before. So once again, I'm going to share my screen and show you something that we use in our Picablo trainings. And so this is a way to have people give you feedback. They could do it in pictures. We really get words though, but you'll notice this is really different than a form where you check a box or circle a number. It actually asks you to think. And so when we do trainings at Picablo, we ask what people want more of in a session. What would they like to learn more about? What was too much? Did they get too much of something? Or what was of most benefit, right? What did they get the most benefit from? And do they want to say anything about the trainer or the experience? And so that's just an idea of how to collect feedback, something fun and different. So I'd ask you, if you would, to put any thoughts you would care to share in the chat. about what you enjoyed about this experience, perhaps, or what you learned, or what you still have a question about. Because I'll take a look at the chat before we finish up. And we do have about another minute. In the file that I sent to people, there was, of course, as I showed you, the agenda. So you have a copy of how to make an agenda. There is also a copy of, let's see, how to be in touch with me. So using my name to be in touch, which is jill@jillgreenbaum.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And I'm also offering a course, and I've made it for folks in India in particular. And it's about appreciative living. And it's an appreciative living learning circle. So there's information in there. And by all means, I hope you'll contact me with any questions that you have, whether it's about visualization or anything that I can be helpful with. And so any other thoughts as we are on the dot of the hour here? Anything you would care to share by coming off of mute, because it's easier to say it than to write it.
Thank you, Jill. It was nice drawing and getting back to very basics. Appreciate all your guidance and ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah,
So, sorry, I just wanted to I'm not sure if you all noticed, I have a small thing which I could just finish for Jill. That's her name on the t-shirt. And Picablo and something that I learned today. Thank you, Jill. Sorry, over to other guys. I know it's time is short.
That's adorable. Put it back up a sec. I'll take a quick picture of it because it's just too adorable. There we go. Oops, hold on. Got it. Too funny. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I have shared contact details as someone asked for in the chat. And also, if you have a question about resources, I'm happy to send you some information. You can always look. I'm going to send you to a site. It is a German site. It's not Bikablo, but it is Bikablo's partner. And they sell the Picablo books, and they sell all kinds of markers also. And of course, I have many other references that there's not time to talk about here, but I could send you a document with those.
And that'll be great, Jill, if you can send it across to our team.
Sure.
Send us a reference, because I'm very bad at drawing, and especially during meetings, it was very helpful to at least understand these small things, and which would probably break a monotony of any meetings. And when we're discussing with the team, it becomes very visual and becomes easy to communicate with the team. Yeah, and great, like, these are very small, easy stuff, but then kinds of adds more value.
Absolutely. Good, Jen.
So
what I'll do is I will send something to Charu, who can hopefully get it out to you. Does that make sense?
Great. Okay? Yes, that'll be great. Yeah, that'll be very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be sharing Jill's contact details and yeah, the recording of the session as well, and the agenda that she has already shared. So
yeah, and some references that she'll be sharing with you. So you
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Jill, one quick question.
Sure.
How can we utilize this concept on virtual meetings?
So let me ask the question to you. What have we just done here, right? So could we do the same thing? You have to present ideas to people. You could use drawings. You could make some drawings in advance. You could do some drawings with the people, or you could take notes in a meeting and send the notes as a follow-up. So there are all kinds of ways to do that. One of the things I can send also to Charu later today is I wrote a chapter in a book about using templates or creating templates to use in a variety of ways. And I have a copy that I can send to her and she can share with all of you.
Sure.
That would be lovely, yeah.
Sure thing. Excellent. Well, I wish you all a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Jill. It was an amazing session, and you can see people are mentioning that it was a great session. It was an interactive session. So yes, we'll be sharing details with you, all of you. And thank you once again, Jill, for the amazing session.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.